Good morning, motherfucker!
Welcome to another episode of Zelch. I am Cyrek.
This is Ebon.
This is Llevoc.
And this is Zach.
He's
And
actually
today-
here for once.
You just gotta
For
talk
once.
whenever I'm saying something, huh?
Yes,
Llevoc?
I do.
Well,
You
yeah,
get
what do you
overtime.
have to say is usually not
You're
that
not allowed.
important.
Hey, Ebon,
No.
I'm talking here. You know what? You want the front end of the back end. We've been through this.
You're whatever you have to say isn't important either.
You guys hear that? I feel like Zach's trying to say something.
No. Maybe.
Didn't we demote him earlier?
Yeah, that's why he wasn't on last week because because of his alcohol problem.
It was at that moment that I first realized Elaine had doubts about our relationship. And that, as much as anything else, led to my drinking problem.
I feel exposed.
You get over it. We missed you.
Well, it's good to be back.
So back on topic.
What topic? We haven't even started a topic yet.
For real. Quit
Hey,
jumping the gun,
Yeah,
Llevoc.
what is the topic?
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can.
can he
Except be a
swing
spider.
from a web. Yes, he can because he is not Zach.
Or Llevoc.
Wow.
Are you two going to just like love hate each other all episode?
Yep.
Yes, we had a bromance going. I get over it.
It's pretty
I know.
standard at this point.
Jealous.
I mean, you could join in and make it a weird love triangle.
Whoa.
My wife is still awake, so she probably heard that.
Okay, and she can be jealous all she wants. Jealous, stay in her lane.
I'm about to say, where does Eric go? He's. I think we scared him, but at least he laughed. At least we know.
I'm here. I've just been
No,
listening.
no. Zarek can stay in his lane. No skinny boys allowed.
Only big boy.
Fuck you! Fuck you, fuck you! Fuck you!
Only big boys. And
That
by
was-
big, I mean fat. And by fat, I mean me.
I need an
Oh.
adult. I need an adult.
I am an adult.
I need an adult.
So, anyway.
Pizza time.
Okay. So, what is our topic for tonight, Cyrek?
We already said
The topic is
Spider-Man.
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 What about Spider-Man?
Well, first off,
Wait.
we're going to go ahead and start off with The Amazing Spider-Man was the best Spider-Man movies out there. And whatever Zarek says doesn't matter. So, anyway.
I
Mm.
agree. The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 were the best Spider-Man. MCU Spider-Man is a close second.
And Tobey Maguire.
Last place.
He gets.
look at
You know
the
what?
picture.
He gets a gold star.
A
You
star
get a
of
gold
gold.
star.
What?
Why?
Do explain. You know what, Zarek? Back up your claim.
I haven't even made a claim yet.
Yeah, we haven't kind of let him talk.
You don't. You
Oh,
don't. want a
clearly
gold
he was
star?
so offended about the Amazing Spider-Man. So
I
apparently,
wasn't saying anything while y'all were talking. Because y'all are
Uh-huh.
making y'all's point. And then
Yeah.
I was going to make my point.
That's-
no,
no, no, no.
we're waiting for your point.
You can go ahead and start. We'll give you permission to talk. You are allowed. Now,
For this moment.
only for a little bit.
So,
Sure.
Time for wasting.
oh my God,
There's a
you.
timer.
Talk. Tick. Talk.
Okay. So, I
Anyways.
really like the Tobey Maguire movies. Besides the third one.
I think I need to smoke a bowl for this. Explain.
So,
Hey, that was
I
last
feel-
week's topic.
yeah, that was last week's topic. I feel that Tobey Maguire was the better Peter Parker because he was more in line with the comic book Peter Parker.
Bullshit.
He was not a good Spider-Man. That would be Tom Holland because he took the charisma of Andrew Garfield and the wittiness as well and amplified it to comic book standard Peter Parker.
Oh,
But I felt like Andrew Garfield was more close to the comic. Come on now. Fucking Tobey Maguire already had the powers of Spiderweb. We all know that he did not have that power. It did not develop until actually later within the actual comics.
That the power within the Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire was created specifically for the movies because they didn't want to create the device that he actually uses that he still uses because the powers are only in the Ultimate Universe. The powers that Tobey Maguire Spider-Man has are made specifically for the movies because they didn't want to have to create the web shooter that he actually has in the comics. And they wanted to make it somewhat different from the comics as well, but keep the core premise of Peter Parker there.
But also in the original comics, who did he fall in love with first?
Gwen Stacy.
Exactly. So Andrew Garfield, who did he fall in love with first?
Gwen Stacy.
Exactly. So it started following the comic a lot more. He did not fall in love with Mary Jane right off the bat, just like how it does with freaking Tobey Maguire. I'm sorry. Fuck that shit.
But I'm not saying that Andrew Garfield's follows the comics more. I'm saying that Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker is not Peter Parker. He is too charismatic, and Peter Parker is not charismatic until after college.
Like
Sure.
that's the thing. The whole point of Peter Parker's quirkiness and everything was him not being popular in high school. And Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker is still not really that popular. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of a personality shift, but that doesn't like make him this, super cool, super liked person in his school and everything. It just, kind of makes him a little bit more of a angsty teenager than normal.
I think it has a lot to do with his acting style, if you really think about it, because
that too.
he played an unpopular character, but the way he played it, he was still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The thing about Tom Holland and why he's not number one on my list is Tom Holland portrays more of a Miles Morales than he does an actual Peter Parker. It's kind of like that's who he used as his role model, which is like, I mean, it's cool and all, but at the same time, if you're going to play Peter Parker, then play Peter Parker. Let Miles be Miles.
But here's the thing about Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. You could create a complete spin-off of Spider-Gwen because, in the alternate universe with Gwen Stacy doesn't die, but Peter Parker does instead, and she gains the power. So they could create a spin-off of her coming back based off of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. They could do much with that.
I think they're trying to do that.
That's the next Spider-Man movie.
I know, with a whole Spider-Verse, with all the three Spider-Mans meeting together.
Yeah.
Are they actually allowing Andrew Garfield to come back for that? Because he kind of got fired.
Yeah, no, they want him to come back. He was saying that he may not.
The only reason he got fired under Sony when they owned Spider-Man. This is Disney, so it's a different ballgame.
Disney? Or Disney's?
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Why are you like this?
how long have you known me?
Who gave Llevoc freedom? Who was that? Zach, is that you? Did you do that?
It's called my DD214. That's what gave me freedom.
It's all the drugs he did growing up.
What drugs? We talked about this last time, and you weren't here for that. Zach,
I'm
be
telling
quiet.
you,
You have no right to talk about drugs.
Well, I did drugs too, with you, in fact. So
NyQuil does not count.
triple C's.
All right, why did I know you're going to say that?
It's one of the funniest things. You were sitting on a bench.
La 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 la.
All right.
It was hilarious.
La 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 la.
Llevoc, if the fans ask for it, then we're gonna have to share that story.
Much later on, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It'll
But
be a special.
the one gripe that I have with Tom Holland's Peter Parker, the one gripe I have with Tom Holland's Peter Parker / Spider-Man is, like Zach said, he's
A virgin?
more of a Miles Morales character than he is actually Peter Parker. He still has that quirkiness to him. However,
But he wasn't even cool as Spider-Man. He wasn't funny. He was just
he was quippy, and that's Spider-Man. He's quippy.
And they treated him like a child. Look at him between him and Iron Man.
Well, that's what we're saying. He's acting like Miles Morales. He's not acting like Peter Parker.
Exactly. So does that mean he gets the gold star?
No, he doesn't get the gold star.
he gets a participation medal because this is 2021 and this is what we do.
Yikes!
But where's Zach's?
However, he can dance in the rain.
He can dance in the rain.
But you know who's a better dancer?
Me.
Tobey Maguire.
What?
Do you not remember when he was taken over?
Whenever he had the Venom
dancing
suit
in the rain and that stupid song.
No, like whenever he was taken over by Venom, he just started dancing around and everything. He completely became another person.
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about now. Yeah, I actually wanted to talk about that. That was one thing that I did like about those movies is they brought up Venom Spider-Man. That was cool.
That was pretty good.
Exactly.
It was.
Do you think his acting got better after he turned into Venom, though? Because he still kind of seemed like a gothic dweeb.
Well, to be honest, I thought his whole persona changing was actually kind of unique and went with it. I kind of liked it, even though he's my least favorite Spider-Man.
By far,
I still think he did that pretty good.
Yeah.
but he was with Mary J the whole time, so maybe he was just high.
Or maybe he was just an emo kid.
Big old evil kid. He didn't love anyone, and his uncle died. Ben.
Where's the crying meme?
Too soon?
Too soon? No, it's not too soon.
Not soon enough.
No. It's too soon.
Are you about to cry over there?
Sir,
Gonna cry?
But anyway, no, Andrew Garfield just had a better way of joking around when he was Spider-Man. There was this one scene where he was he was stopping a guy from robbing a car, and he was just like, "Oh no, the knife! My greatest will pop!" Shut up.
My greatest weakness. Whatever shall I do?
Yeah, no. Andrew Garfield was the better Spider-Man, but he was not the better Peter Parker. Like,
I think
if he
that's
took the
because of
quirkiness,
sorry.
if he took the quirkiness that is supposed to be there and actually implemented it into the character of Peter Parker, and had Spider-Man as a separate entity and being the charismatic, joking hero that he's supposed to be, then it could have worked more. But honestly, all the Peter Parker scenes are boring to me, but all the Spider-Man scenes are great.
I thought the whole movie was great. I didn't like his the Green Goblin in that one. Did he just mute himself?
Yeah, I was letting you talk because I thought you were going to go into why.
Oh no, I wanted to see if you had anything to say on that one, but no. My reason for thinking that is just I didn't like his development of why he did it and like how he turned into the Green Goblin. Does that make sense?
Yeah, honestly, the Willem Dafoe Green Goblin was the better Green Goblin of the two that we've seen so far in the movies.
No, I can agree with that. I like William Dafoe.
Well, it's not even that. Like, the way that he became Green Goblin by using the same serum as Spider-Man was a better plot point than Harry in the Amazing Spider-Man movies morphing into the Green Goblin.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But, like,
He was special. Very special.
wasn't it because of some toxin or something that
Well, is kind of
He was trying to fight off the sickness. He took some kind of serum that would help him fight off his like some kind of cancer, right? And then it had like it wasn't fully developed, so he put it in him and it had really bad effects in the end. So
He put it in him, huh?
yes, deeply.
But if we
Oh,
also
Demon's weak.
so if we go through each of the movies one by one, starting with should we go with Tobey Maguire first, or Andrew Garfield, or Tom Holland movies first,
I mean,
and break them down?
you could do that in order.
So in order of release.
Yeah.
All right. So with the Tobey Maguire, they did change the story of Peter and MJ being childhood friends and growing up next to each other whenever it was supposed to be him and Gwen Stacy from the comics, because
Mhm.
boy meets girl situation that is always there in old movies. And that was a good change, though they should have went with Gwen Stacy, but they had a short time period that they wanted to cover. And they thought that since MJ is the most popular, go with her because everybody knows her. But you
But I feel
see
like
his
that's changing now, though. Not with the MJ. Sorry, cutting you off, but with the whole MJ thing, people are starting to know like Gwen Stacy so much more. That's primarily due to the Amazing Spider-Man, and now that they're expanding with the Spider Universe with Spider-Gwen and all that. So I think it's actually going to start changing here from people giving shit about MJ to more towards Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it most definitely is, because we already see it happening. But back in the early 2000s, whenever the Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire came out, MJ was the most popular, and that's what people knew going
That's
in.
because everybody was fetishizing that character.
And MJ sounds like Mary Jane because it's, marijuana.
That
I
too.
mean, her name is Mary Jane Watson.
I know.
I wonder
name is
where they got
marijuana.
that from.
Yeah, like the story behind Mary Jane is really interesting itself, but we'll get into that later.
I'm sure
Because she's a plant.
That's
Clearly.
only in the animated series.
Yeah.
Wait, no, she turns into water in the animated series.
to help water the weed, obviously.
No,
Yeah.
water. It's water from a water bong. Get it
Why
right.
else do you think it's called Mary Jane? Come on now.
Everything is about the weed, man. The weed.
Get it together.
But
Yeah.
you see,
Derek, get with the times.
Yikes. He's getting into it now. You got him on a roll.
going off of Spider-Man 1, we have the evolution of Peter Parker into Spider-Man, him getting the famous speech from his uncle, and that being, with great power comes great responsibility. And you see how he's quirky. Nobody really respects him in high school. He's very, very dweeby. And that all starts to change after the spider bite, because you see his physiology change. You see that he is becoming more confident in himself, all the way up until Spider-Man 2, where he starts to doubt himself because MJ is distancing herself from him.
Because he's a dweeb.
Nerd.
Well, she wanted to pursue her own path and started dating Harry in the second movie. And
Because he's rich. And she's a gold digger.
What a slut.
with the second movie, he loses his power because his power comes from his will in that universe, is his will to save people, to do the right thing. And unknowingly, MJ was the catalyst to his willpower of being there to save the day. And what?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the different flashes?
That's not even related to what I was talking about.
I know, but
I'm grounded again. Another 5 minutes.
Jesus Christ. Are we sure he's not the one drinking? Are you still drunk from last week?
I don't know.
No. Yeah. Okay.
Go back to being muted.
Not that much.
I'm okay.
Do your job!
Seriously, that's actually a perfect one for that.
I'm sorry, I can't stop laughing. Oh god.
You're good. You're good, Zach. You're good. Oh,
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good.
For context, I keep dead naming people. That's why I keep getting muted.
that is a good explanation.
Ooh.
I lost my speaking privileges.
I almost
I'm
cried.
sorry for the guy who has to edit this stuff.
Yeah,
No.
I feel sorry for him too.
I don't.
Look at Zach being a dick.
It's your fault.
Anyways, Cyrek,
Yes.
continue.
So
Yeah, before
Which-
we have to trash this whole video.
Zach.
Oof.
But no, like with Spider-Man 1, the villain was Green Goblin. And honestly, William Dafoe was the best Green Goblin there was. Out of all of the movies that have been released. And there's only 3 Green Goblins. I don't even know if you can consider Harry in Spider-Man 3 to be a Green Goblin.
No. He's not. He was supposed to be quote unquote Hobgoblin.
What?
Yeah. Yeah,
Dude.
he was supposed to be a Hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Hobgoblin isn't even related to Harry and his father.
Just
Yeah,
bring the
at that
Goblin
point-
Slayer out and we'll be fine.
At that point, they were just trying to commercialize. They didn't care about, following the comics or anything.
No. And
It's if you understand merchandising.
and
marketing.
even like Spider-Man 3 originally was only supposed to be about Sandman and Harry being the villains. Venom was added after the fact due to studio interference.
And Venom was the best part of that whole movie. Surprise, surprise.
Say it ain't so.
But with Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, having him get his powers based on the same serum that Peter got his powers, you could see the duality of it and what people in different walks would do with the power. It made him go crazy, but it made Peter become more virtuous and more of a hero.
Go, go, Power Rangers.
That was random as hell.
That's the
Do
point.
you want to lose your speaking privileges, Ebon?
But like with Spider-Man 2, we had the best villain in all of the movies, which is Doc Ock, played by Alfred Molina.
Yeah, Doc Ock wasn't pretty. You know what? How I could say, I think Andrew Garfield was literally the better Spider-Man, but I feel like with Tobey Maguire, the villains were so much better. I don't know. It's just,
I could see that.
yeah.
Yeah, like they got better named
Zarek
actors
admitted
to
it.
be the villains.
Zarek said, yeah, he admitted it. Andrew Garfield's better. We all heard it.
No, I'm saying that the
He did
villains
say it.
are
No,
better.
he said it. I heard it.
We heard it. We heard it.
And now you're fired.
Okay, Zach, you have no room to talk about firing people in this video.
I can have fun with it.
I think we made Zarek cry. He's being quiet.
All right, make fun of him some more. Make him cry harder.
I think he just needs to drink more whiskey, and
I am drinking more whiskey,
Oh,
I don't
okay.
blame you. I
That
wish
makes
I was
sense.
drinking right now too.
Ugh.
but like
I'll drink like Zach did. Like,
I will say this.
Leave me alone,
I
Llevoc.
will say what I have been saying since the beginning. Tobey Maguire is the better Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield is the better Spider-Man.
Shut up, Zarek. Hybrid theory is better.
Sheesh.
What?
I was waiting for it.
Whoop, there it goes. Yep. My brain stopped.
It's funny because it's true.
You're just gonna bring that up every episode now, huh?
Yeah,
Well,
that's not going away anytime soon. Like I said,
Everyone brought it up last
week,
episode. I brought it up this episode. Zach, you know what you do.
Eventually, he's gonna bring it up. I get it.
I told you it's not going away anytime soon, ever. 100 episodes later, and guess what? We're still don't bring it up.
Well, at least until somebody else fucks up.
Yep.
Zach.
No. Yeah,
Well,
probably. It's probably going to be me next.
it already has with your alcohol problem.
Just wait, Llevoc. You're next. Llevoc has triple C's. That's his.
Triple C's?
Yeah.
Like his boob size?
Yes. My good size.
He had surgery.
We go into Spider-Man 2. Doc Ock is the main villain. Doc Ock hurts Aunt May. That diminishes Peter's will to fight. And he also starts to lose Mary Jane because she's starting to date Harry. And so he just gives up the mantle of Spider-Man, tosses his suit in the trash, and it takes a while for him to realize that, no, I still want to save these people. I still care for the people of New York. I'm going to do everything that I can to stop Doc Ock.
But he was a dick and still gave up the role of Spider-Man. Even though it was temporary, he still abandoned the people. What an asshole.
Every
Yep.
Peter Parker goes through that story, though. It just never gets to it other than in Spider-Man 2, because the other Spider-Men have never been Spider-Man long enough to actually get to that point.
That's true.
Yeah, but this whole topic is about the movies, not the comics.
You have to pull the source from somewhere, right?
Even if it's a loose inspiration.
I love
Yeah.
the fact that we actually stumped him on that one. Well, you guys did. I kind of sat here and watched. It was beautiful. I need popcorn.
But he did give up this mantle of Spider-Man. He took it back because he wanted to save the people of New York. He wanted to save MJ. And then we move into Spider-Man 3, and we're introduced to Venom, Sandman, and Hobgoblin.
Sandman, give me your dreams.
3 villains in one movie.
Dun, 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 dun.
I have
And that's where that one
Well-
failed.
I have my own issues with that many villains in one movie. But aside from that, we see him take on the symbiote known as Venom and get his black suit. We find out that Sandman is the reason that Uncle Ben died. And we also find out that Harry has taken
Are you okay,
the
Zarek?
serum.
You seem like you're having issues trying to explain yourself.
No, I'm trying to remember in order
It's the whiskey.
what's going on.
Yep, it's the whiskey.
That
Probably.
also is probably
You
not
know what?
helping me.
Yeah, Zarek, take a seat. Ebon, take away.
I really don't have anything to say because what he was saying is actually true, even though he's speaking really slow.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
really can't do it any better than him. However,
The thing,
I can say that The Amazing Spider-Man were still better movies, better comedy movies, better acting, and no Mary J until the very, very... Was she at the end of the second
No.
one?
she was a deleted scene.
She was
She
in a
was in a-
deleted scene,
Yeah,
and she
but-
only showed up in one scene in the middle of the movie in the high school.
She doesn't
Yep.
even matter. My question is,
Ooh.
what do you guys think about the spin-off? The spin-off with Venom having its own movie.
Like the Venom movie?
Yeah, the Venom movie. What do you think?
Personally, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
It follows the
I
Agent
really
Venom.
enjoyed
It follows the Agent Venom story,
I like it.
and
fantastic.
I really hope that Anti-Venom gets introduced in the next movie.
I thought he's supposed to because of didn't they at the very end have him in it?
No, they had
that was
Carnage.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was Carnage.
The second movie is supposed to be coming out this year, but it might be pushed back because of COVID-19. Let me look real quick. I will Google while you guys talk.
He has to check his sources.
Yeah, the movie was supposed to come out this year. Was supposed to.
So was a
Will
lot.
it? I don't know. It might just be released onto streaming platforms like
I'm okay
all
with
the
that.
other movies this year have.
A lot
I
of
really,
things are going to start at,
I really
on
hate
HBO Max.
I really hate that all these movies are coming out on all these different streaming platforms and everything. Like some of them are being exclusive for these platforms, and it's
Yes.
like, just put them in the theater. Like, come on.
No. COVID.
Yeah,
Well, then set
Bad
up a
Zach.
deal.
bad
set up-
Zach.
Shut up. So then set up a deal so that all the other streaming platforms can get it too. Like, that's I don't like it.
It's
These-
becoming much more like how cable was back, and why
It's
we
be-
left cable to go to streaming services.
Yep. It's becoming a problem, is what it's becoming.
At this point, cable's cheaper than buying streaming services.
Yep.
Yeah, I have like Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max. Also have VRV. Shit, HBO Max. Dude, I have like everything.
How much are you paying for all of that?
Well, I have each family's paying for something new. So my family's paying for HBO Max. I'm paying for Netflix. Sister has Hulu. It works out for us.
Who's paying for Verve?
We don't watch Verve.
Verve.
Who's paying for Pornhub?
That's free. And I mean, I don't
How
watch
did I
that.
know
dirty
that one was
stuff.
coming?
It's me.
Yeah, that is Llevoc. That one you can safely say is
I
because
don't
of
watch
me.
that dirty stuff, so it's fine.
Yep,
He's
'cause
a
you're a virgin,
he's-
right? Ebon's
he's a pure
a complete virgin.
Anyways, now that we're done lying,
Damn.
Yes.
Why you always lying?
Jesus, we should
But-
not be drinking while we do this.
We also like Spider-Man 3 was a bad film. Spider-Man 2 out of the Raimi trilogy is the best movie. And Amazing Spider-Man has some very good points. It really does. I don't like Electro. I don't like the way that Jamie Foxx is an amazing actor. I just don't like the way he portrayed Electro. You get me?
well, they probably
Yeah, I getcha.
it's probably because they used a different character for his inspiration, because they tend to do that with villains. Like, that's why villains end up being so different from who they are in the comics, because they
That's-
base them off of somebody else.
That has to do with the actors, because, like you said, they have to base it off the person playing them and put their own personality into it.
Yeah.
True.
It's only in certain circumstances, though, like, like we're saying with Tom Holland, him being based off Miles Morales, and there's also what was his name? The Vulture. The Vulture is based off of a different villain altogether as well. Like, even his story arc and everything, like, he's not like how he was in the comics.
Oh, by the way, Venom 2, June 25th, 2021.
Good to know.
Yay!
Awesome. That's gonna be good.
Oh, side note, real quick, before we get back on topic, Deadpool 3,
Yeah, it's gonna be
Okay.
rated R.
and it's going to be overseen, whatever the word is, by Ryan Reynolds. So he's going to make sure that it's, it doesn't stray from what it was originally meant to be.
Like the second one almost did.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The second one had some weird story beats and weird pacing. But
I loved the second one.
You know what I really want? This is we're really off fucking topic now, but Deadpool, I really want him with freaking Wolverine. That's what I want.
There's rumors that is in the works.
yeah,
It's
They're-
only rumors, though, because didn't the guy who was playing Wolverine actually retire from the role? He just didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah,
Hugh
Hugh
Jackman?
Jackman-
Yeah, he did.
Hugh Jackman retired. They are rebooting the entirety of the X-Men to be fitting in the MCU. They're
Yeah.
also rebooting the entirety of Fantastic Four.
And
Yeah,
they're
Fantastic Four redone
recasting.
all
Let's see
over
what
again.
happens
What a
last
surprise.
time they rebooted Fantastic Four.
They're going to continue to do that, but they're recasting Wolverine. I think Hugh Jackman picked out the right person to take over the role.
Who?
Cite your source.
I think it's the guy who plays Max's older brother in Stranger Things.
Never seen it.
That is a fantastic show. You should watch it.
I know who you're talking. Yeah, I know who you're talking
That
about.
Yeah.
would be an interesting Wolverine. It'd be a much younger
But-
Wolverine, though.
Isn't
Well,
he too
and
skinny
that's-
for that?
No, he's actually shredded
Since when?
since he did the role for Stranger Things.
Yeah, he was shredded in the first season.
Yeah, and the second season he was even he was even more built. The dude worked out.
It's amazing what happens when you go to the gym. Llevoc.
Yeah,
What are you trying to say?
you know exactly what he's trying to say.
Nothing at all.
Still bench more than you, bitch.
No, you've never been able to bench more than me.
When's the last time you've been to the gym?
Today,
Uh-oh.
after work.
Are we comparing sizes?
Yes, and I'm
Yeah.
bigger.
I'm smaller than everybody, so
That means two things.
I win.
So, what are your gripes with Tom Holland?
who?
All three of you.
He's a little bitch for starters.
Ugh. I wasn't all worded that way, but I don't know. He just kind of threw in the whole Avengers thing, and he kind of seemed irrelevant for the most part. He had some funny lines, don't get me wrong, but there was no Uncle Ben with him. There was no seeing how he got his powers.
You completely
Which, granted, I know there's already been 2 movies explaining all that, yada, 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 but there's no, character build-up.
He doesn't.
for him.
He
It's
doesn't
like,
even
hey,
seem really independent either. He just seems like he's he's following in Iron Man's footsteps the whole fucking time. And just like,
Well, that's part of his whole story in the MCU though. Is like he's Tony Stark's protege, and he's like part of his struggle is living up to that reputation.
But he's not supposed to be. Peter Parker becomes a superhero, the neighborhood superhero.
Well, okay, I get that, but they changed it up for the MCU when they introduced him.
Yeah,
Wait.
they wanted him to be galactic-based instead of neighborhood-based, like he's
Yeah.
supposed to be.
Which is why they're introducing the Spider-Verse, because it's like, he's not the only Peter Parker out there.
yeah,
Which-
and then the last movie that he was in, they didn't even do it in New York. They were okay, that's
Far
not
From Home?
Yeah,
I haven't seen that one yet. I've seen Homecoming and I've seen
why
everything.
the fuck are you even here if you haven't even seen it?
Wow.
He just called you out.
I'm just gonna sit back and watch on this one.
Mainly because I don't have to watch it yet, because it takes place after WandaVision.
No, it doesn't.
Still,
Yes, it
we're
does.
supposed to talk about who's the best Spider-Man. I mean, if you haven't even seen that movie, I'm like, geez.
We need a source for this claim of it taking
Yeah,
place after
you're
WandaVision.
so dead set on Tobey Maguire, but you're missing a whole total movie.
WandaVision takes place immediately after Endgame, and Far From Home takes place.
I think
Around the same time.
Zarek lost all his speaking privileges. All who agree say aye, aye.
I
이깜뽀깜.
double I.
Hey, stop talking.
Hold on.
Wait a
Holding.
minute.
Okay. It says, first of all, Disney confirmed that WandaVision occurs after Avengers Endgame, which, blah, 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 happened, blah, 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 this and that, blah, blah, blah. It says, but WandaVision timeline-wise is probably most similar to Spider-Man Far From Home, meaning it's an isolated story in the post-snap world. So it doesn't necessarily say that it comes before or after Far From Home.
Ooh.
It's probably running parallel then.
Hey, who gave you permission to speak?
I did.
I.
Okay, then.
I thought we were just saying I.
I was just agreeing he can speak.
Okay.
Anyways.
Like, one thing I do give credit for with the MCU is they actually showed Spider-Man's physical strength in comparison to actually how he looks. Because him stopping Winter Soldier's punch, that shows that, hey, he's stronger than what he looks like.
Yeah.
Which he's supposed to be.
Tom McGuire stopped a freaking train.
It took him time,
Toby
though.
McGuire, whatever. Tom McGuire. Tom Hall. Let's see what I did.
And how much have you been drinking, sire?
I'm drinking water, sir.
What's the officer problem?
I'm actually drinking Propel water. It tastes like grape.
I sort of drunk. I'm not God.
But the problem I
Okay.
have with Toby McGuire, or not Toby, god damn it. The problem I have with Tom Holland is he's not Spider-Man, he's Iron Spider.
Spider-Man. Okay, let's be real. The best Spider-Man in the world? Spider-Pig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spider-Pig. Spider-Pig.
Tom
Does
Mulaney.
whatever a
Whatever a
Spider-Pig.
Spider Pig does. Can he swing from a web? No, he can't because he's a pig. Look
Tom
out.
Okay, Llevoc. Got it.
I'm sorry, did I?
That's how
offend
I'm feeling right now. Because I can't get a word in edgewise.
Well, you're not supposed to speak anyway. So what's the problem?
Just do what I do and just speak over him. He'll stop.
Yeah,
That's
eventually.
fair.
He'll get over himself.
Yeah. Fuck Cyrek.
No, we're talking about
No,
you,
you.
Llevoc. All right, mute him. Now's your chance.
Alright, so, what I was saying was,
I have muted myself.
so what I'm saying is, Tom Holland isn't Spider-Man, he's Iron Spider. He doesn't really do what he's supposed to do as Spider-Man, though he does portray the heroism that he's supposed to do.
Heroism. I don't think that's a word.
Heroism.
I'm going to use that from now on. Heroism.
Okay. I have a question, and this just goes for all of us. How much have you guys had to drink at this point?
Not a lot at all, actually.
I'm drinking water. I've said that like 3 times.
He has.
Water, vodka, same thing.
Llevoc, you're the only one that's been drinking as much as you have.
Yeah.
You don't have proof.
You've been saying how much you've been drinking.
I
Quite a
have
bit.
not. You're
Not
full of
during-
shit.
Not during the stream, but beforehand, you totally did.
Nope.
He's in denial.
With Tom Holland, he's not the neighborhood Spider-Man. He's the all-around generic superhero of the world Spider-Man.
Then how come they say that in the movie?
Because for 6 months he was the neighborhood Spider-Man, and then he became the generic galactic superhero Spider-Man.
The whole point was for marketing. That was why.
Yeah.
It's a marketing ploy and a way to bring in another brand into the MCU franchise.
It's Disney trying to buy back all of Marvel's properties.
Yeah,
that
which I
were
mean,
licensed out.
don't get me wrong. Like the budgeting that they put for those movies definitely pays off because like the MCU doesn't suck. You know, like they're good movies and everything.
I got
They're
a 3-part series for you that you should check out that says the MCU sucks.
Okay, I'll watch it.
So what do you
But,
guys think about? I got a question for you guys. What do you guys think of Silk?
I haven't read enough about her. Yeah, I know you kept telling me to get into her comics and everything, but I was getting into Gwenpool at the time.
Comics are lame.
No, they're
Whatever,
not.
man.
No, they're not. No.
Just take it.
Whoa.
Just take it. It's okay.
Zach. I need you to calm down.
I will do no such thing.
But so none of you guys know anything about Silk, right?
No.
Okay. Then I have to keep quiet then.
Not a clue.
You know what?
Does she?
You know what? You need to have homework.
Does she pertain to this topic?
Not at all.
Not to the movies, but to the comics, yes.
So
I
not
mean,
at all.
The thing is, with the comics, they changed up a lot of characters to fit with the MCU.
Spider-Verse. She got bitten around the same time that Peter Parker got bitten, but she couldn't control her power, so she hid herself in a freaking basement for so many years. And never got out until she eventually learned how to control her power. So she's relatively new for the last couple years, but I would just recommend just look into her. It's kind of cool. She's in the Spider-Verse universe comics, so she is relevant. And now that there's a Spider-Verse movie about to come out, who knows?
Aside from the Ultimate Spider-Man Spider-Verse,
yeah,
the animated one. Also, does anybody know why Zendaya's MJ is only called MJ and not Mary Jane?
Because marijuana.
No.
They don't have the rights to call her Mary Jane.
Interesting.
She's not Mary Jane, she's just MJ.
Very interesting.
I thought it was marijuana, but okay.
The more you know.
Yep. So we may never get a proper Mary Jane in the MCU.
Can they call her Mary?
Well,
No.
Hold on. Is it because Sony is being a prick about it?
It's because Sony, whenever they made the deal, Sony never signed over the rights to give away Mary Jane. It was just Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Of course.
And several of his villains.
It only makes sense.
What the fuck, man? That's bullshit.
Exactly.
The problem I have with the Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire is one, the Gwen Stacy thing. Gwen Stacy was supposed to be his high school sweetheart up until college, where he meets Mary Jane, and he also meets Harry Osborn in college. He didn't grow up with Harry. He met them in college, and then Gwen died, so he moved over to Mary Jane after a while because she helped him through the grieving process.
Yep.
But then Gwen Stacy comes back, and according to the comics, comes back from an alternate universe for the help of Doctor Strange to find her true love, Peter Parker, who died in her universe. Dun, dun, dun. Love triangle.
Well, I mean, but we also have the storyline that Peter Parker isn't the original Peter Parker.
That's also true.
And we all know how that ended up with fans of the series.
That's why we're going to have a Spider-Verse universe freaking movie.
Yeah.
Yep. It only makes sense.
Like, Gwen Stacy should have been more prominent in the Tom Holland, and they shouldn't have gone with introducing MJ. They should have introduced Gwen Stacy beforehand if they want to do it proper. Because, honestly, Gwen Stacy is a more interesting character up until the college portion of the story.
Well, again, they're not really going based off the comics here.
No, they're going based off of what they think is right and what marketing tells them is right.
Yep, they're following trends. And I mean, for the most part, it's turning out pretty well for them. I mean, they're making a lot of, money off of it.
Money talks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Can't really fault them for that. If anything, it's on everybody that keeps, going to watch the movies. If you're looking for comic book accuracy, then don't watch what's coming out. Don't support it.
True.
That is literally how everything should work. If you don't like it, don't watch it. If you don't want to listen to it, don't listen to it. Why is that so hard for
Exactly.
people? Snowflakes. I say that because
Exactly.
it's snowing outside.
You get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that, the whole issue with the MCU is, well, MCU Spider-Man is the way that he is introduced in Civil War. He makes all these quips, but they don't really land. It's very poor joke writing that you don't really have issue with in the comics. Like, all the jokes are definitely better in the comics.
Cyrek,
I don't
Yeah.
know about that.
stop thinking too hard.
Whoop, there it goes. Yep. My brain stopped.
I mean, so, there are plenty of funny jokes in the comics and everything, but there's a lot of bad jokes too. It's kind of a give or take.
Well, yeah, there's definitely bad jokes in the comics, but like the situational jokes that land solid. But the MCU jokes don't really land. Like, especially the one about Star Wars that is said immediately after seeing Ant-Man.
Well, yeah,
Why the fuck are you even bringing up Ant-Man? Fuck that shit.
Batman does not belong here.
I said Ant-Man.
See how much
Ant-Man doesn't belong.
Abbott said he was drinking water.
Well, in all fairness, it does sound like you said Batman through the mic, but you know what? Ant-Man doesn't belong here either.
Well, I was making a point about the joke, the Star Wars joke about the AT-ATs, and how that joke doesn't land. It doesn't sound like a good joke. And like, he had other better jokes, like whenever he was fighting Falcon and whenever he was fighting Winter Soldier. Those jokes landed.
okay.
That's cool.
I don't want to sound like that guy, but I think we're kind of hyper analyzing this a little bit now. We're getting to that point.
Stop
So
being
what
a
you're-
nipper.
So what you're saying is,
Okay, they're talking about fictional characters. Fictional characters. Am I getting through to you at all?
Kind of.
Just a wee bit.
A little bit.
I do agree that Andrew Garfield had the better quips. He really did.
Exactly. I agree too. Andrew Garfield was the best Spider-Man and Peter Parker altogether. I agree with that.
I'm not saying he was the best Peter Parker.
Andrew Garfield was better Peter Parker and better Spider-Man. Case closed. Get over it.
Llevoc.
Maybe if it was post-college Peter Parker, yeah. Not current high school Peter Parker. He did have the better quips. He had the better dealing with the villains in the way that he did, which was lighthearted and fun.
I like
And- But what other things about Andrew Garfield can you say about him that make him a better Spider-Man / Peter Parker?
Well, I mean, okay. At this point, we're kind of just like bouncing opinions back.
Well-
and forth.
He also had a better interesting girlfriend.
What?
How
What?
so?
The only reason
What?
why I think he was a better Spider-Man was his storyline, personally. His storylines were better, and like it actually followed the fact that his first girlfriend died because he couldn't catch her in time.
Yeah.
I like that.
It was a different take on him than what people are used to in films. 'Cause, I mean, people were used to Tobey Maguire. It's like He's there. He stops the bad guy. He always gets the girl. Oh no, him and the girl have a bit of a problem, but they're gonna end up together in the end anyway.
What do you mean he always gets the girl?
But in the Andrew Garfield storyline, like he gets the girl, but it's against the father's wish, and he made a promise to the father. And then in the second one, the girl dies. It's like it's kind of darker and grittier, and it's kind of makes for a more interesting story. You see a bit more character development and growth in Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker. Aside from just losing his uncle.
I think it has some more emotional plots and twists with Andrew Garfield.
And again with Tom Holland, like his Spider-Man goes through his own trial, like a different set of trials than what Andrew Garfield's did. So that's why it's like it's not really, they're not really on the same playing field there. And Tobey Maguire is like, he lost his uncle, but that's kind of it. And I mean, he kind of got unpopular and his girlfriend broke up with him in the third movie and all that kind of stuff. But otherwise, it was like, he's just a well-rounded, good citizen type person fighting evil, putting the bad guys in prison.
In the end, who we vote is the best Spider-Man is Spider-Pig.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
That's it. Right there.
Spider-Pig.
Spider-Pig.
Best one altogether.
Well, now that we came to our conclusion that the best Spider-Man is Spider-Pig, we're going to close this night out. I'm Llevoc.
I'm Cyrek.
I'm Ebon.
And I'm Zach.
Have a good one.
We'll take the long way.
Is that all you got? Still got the moves. You're trash. How'd that get in there? Gonna cry?
Another happy landing.